Alright, so for my, let's think, things that might be important to people outside of the United States. I took French in high school in St. Dominic's. The man was a French Canadian, and he slept through the class. I didn't learn anything. I then, in college, chose to take Italian, and I had an adorable man who was very tiny, in the sense of he was like a Hector Castillo, who is a Latin man, I suppose, Hispanic perhaps. These words, they elude me. He's not Esperanza. He is a different area. So, but not very wonderful, very petite, and small, kind of like my Aunt Jackie. She's very tiny also. She's Bonado, I think. I don't know. Where was I? Okay, so I took Italian. Do not remember most of it. There's some pieces I do remember. I just saw on Facebook, and I put up on Instagram and Facebook, I wrote a whole piece. It says something, it looks like the Austrian flag. At the bottom, it's 2 red lines, and then it has 3 stars. So I am unfamiliar at this live moment, and how do I explain it to you? I know it becomes unbelievable because it's kind of like you've seen and heard and been asked to take part in something, but I knew about it before I arrived in 1978. Once I arrived, it was then patchwork to make sure Alexander was born in the correct scope, which he was not. What I just wrote was, first of all, when a man is deleted out of history, actually, how did the delete happen? Okay, so here's, from a star goddess point, when I am not in permanent physical form, I suppose, the way that I wound up explaining it so it was not scary was that I watch over as like guardianship from anti-gravity places. From an anti-gravity place, you are able to see in the framework of time and space in a way that most humans do not. I know in a long count civilization calendar that I own my own system, and it is, I guess all-encompassing is what I call it, but I guess own, O-W-N, is how, if you're going to have an oral wave function of Nicole, that would be it, in NICKLAUS. So what happens is, in my watching over Antonine on one end in the Holy Roman Empire of the Holy Catholic in Italy, I was wondering why he, and also the De Roya that was born in America, his wife, Angelina, she was De Filippo, De Roya, De Paola, De something else, I don't know. And then there was Antonine in Italy as the Catholic, the cat from Tar that marries the woman who's the Abajani, I think is what we said in Abu Dhabi. That's more in the Arabi for Utsa, if we're doing Torah work. But again, you see, as a goddess, you are all over, and you have lots of people to meet and to take care of, but I don't need high, dangerous anti-gravity science. I don't need people learning it. I don't need people curious about it. And I definitely don't need people fighting for control of it. That's it. What happened was, in one of your idiocies, I believe, somewhere around when Elizabeth was put into Britain, the protest church against the Catholics that don't listen to a fucking word that anything white says, even, and then confused the Jews in wherever they were, because they're spread out all over in the tribes of we know stuff. the British Royal, the Royal Ministry, those people, when they did not acknowledge the correct Watt and the correct McClurg family that Mariah was arriving on, so was Andrew, and so was Mary. When they, in their Church of England protest against the Catholics, didn't take the correct seeds off of the Irish floor and Scottish floor and put them into a royal house. They deleted that stem, and they deleted Antonine and Angelina. Angelina being in Russia for the dark red ruddy hair and the beautiful pale skin, that their side is de Rosa. It is the beauty of Russia, is what they used to call her. And then in the correct history, and then we had, so when they deleted the branch of my family, then all of a sudden everything got spun. Elizabeth got put in. Now they didn't have to listen to anybody. Nobody was acknowledging the beautiful Russian in America, West Virginia, where she was born, who is also Italian, but she's not Irish, like fire engine orange carrot hair. She has beautiful, like deep rose with like a little dark black in it. I mean, it's absolutely stunning, and that's what I love about NICKLAUS when he has that color. And I call him my beauty mark because he usually has a mark over here when he has that color hair. But when I think I saw him as NICKLAUS, I call him Mark then. But then when I see him as NICKLAUS, he did not want the mark on his face, and he wanted the ashy hair like myself. So I said, well, okay, I'm going to have to try and keep this one straight, for everybody says we're crazy, but whatever, this is godly things. So when they deleted out my Holy Roman Empire, and I no longer had a royal seat as a star goddess coming back, and everybody started to go down and forget things, then they argued over the Holy Roman Empire was bad, that's why the Catholics are bad, and I'm like, what are you all talking about in life programming and star places? What are you doing to the children of Earth? What's going on? Turns out, when I started walking around my seeds and scenery as Warden of the World, and the Warlord, being myself, as the reason why everybody was breaking out into wars, Russia, Germany, and Italy all broke out into a war, and then America jumped in like, yeah, we're the little kids, but we don't know. Are we protesting? Why are we protesting the future god's husband from Austria in Germany? That doesn't make any sense. Although it makes Stalin very funny because his little seed was in West Virginia. So they thought that, and Carl was really laughing at the mark that you are leaving on the world, Elizabeth, for your stupidity and your British assholes, floating in a sea of tranquility with yourself as the star of how did the world get taken down in 3 generations. So there we are. So anyway, so they have, so I walked through the wall of, into the Mongoloid stadium, I would call it. I mean, if you had like, the Colosseum used to have like the tiered seats in Rome, yeah? So when you walk in, they had that in the back, and then there was chalkboard, and so that was one area, and then I had to sit there and I had to dial back the timing and say, now at what point, but then it's hard to get the trajectory on, because the humans always ask for like letters and numbers on things that I don't keep over the long count of 2,000 something years of between when I go elsewhere in jobs and then I come back to guardianship, and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to the children? Who closed and locked me out of my position in guardianship? That's really dangerous, stupid ass children. Okay, so then when I walked in and I said, how did you get all of this? Then I had to go back to management in my protecting my my spot and ask, did they close me out of guardianship somehow when they deleted Antonine and Mariah and DeFugo? I mean, that's why they got the wars. I get that as a warlord. When you delete the Holy Roman Empire's seedlings of the goddess return, I mean, and then they get mad. They're like, well, we heard, yeah, I know, you're misprogrammed in history, your words don't mean anything. I get it. If you get mad, it's not right. So then, what? Great, I'm a Jaguar priestess. Is that better? I don't think she has a church. She doesn't have a church. Is that better? Good. Okay. So I don't, will, the Holy Roman Empire takes care of the Catholic for my last name, but I've been the Jaguar priestess. So if that words work better for your head in life programming, so we don't upset the children of Earth that are trying to delete me for some reason, meanwhile I have a very important function and you grow more dangerous every deletion you try. Right. Okay, so I had to figure out why the Mongoloids, how they got a stadium seat and chalkboards and then chalk and paper. I went in, I took the paper away, I took the chalk away. I said, you are not allowed to know anything that is Latin, Germanic, anything. You have one language and it means nothing in relation to any of our own. You are not allowed to teach any of my sacred symbols or my sacred language to anybody anywhere that looks like you. That's it. And I walked out through the wall. Then I walked off set. I call it a set because it wasn't my set. I was alive, but I wasn't, well, I don't know how to explain that, but whatever. So they were alive. It was their set. So I walked off their set. It looks like a movie directory ship, I think, with the cameras. Like, it looks real. Like, it's only one thing when you're watching the movie, and then all of a sudden you walk off set, and then there's a camera, and then there's more seating. Right, yeah, kind of like that. But I walk into an office and I go, now listen to me. I said, who's giving these things, who's encouraging them to have chalk and things that they're not allowed to have? Because it's like taking away candy from a baby in the sense that they don't know that it's actually poison and not candy. So I don't want them to poison themselves. So who's doing these things? Who's taking it upon themselves to program in teaching facilities and building these dangerous environments for the poisonous children that doesn't know that it's poison? Right. Godly department said they had to do some research on that because they didn't realize I was back. Imagine that. Things actually get done when I'm back. I don't know why you then shut me back out again. Here we are on dangerous trajectory where now the children that were not allowed to learn about the poison have now learned it and are now poisoning the other children that wanted to teach them about the poison. Why can't we teach the children of the ugly? Why can't we, the disfigured? Why can't we teach them? Because I said so, because in the future they're going to take what they learn and punish you. Now, why would they punish us if we taught them? Because they're not who you think they are. That's why. There is a second part of this, that while I am being punished as a goddess, everything works in the direct opposite of where it's supposed to be. That is why, following the direct orders of getting me out of the dirt and back into a royal house that was deleted by the same stupid fucking children that wanted to teach poison to the poisonous kids that was then in the future going to hurt them. For directly disobeying a goddess order, they are getting now punished. But guess who else gets punished with all you idiots not fucking listening one word the entire time? I say they deleted the kingdom, put the kingdom back. Boom, done. There would have been no war in Germany, Russia, or Italy. Just like that. But instead, it's, I need to study this. I didn't know this was possible. That's because you are a zero. A zero. And now you are trying to be a hero, and you are going to kill all the rest of us and take us all down with you, stupid.